welcome to the final cabinet meeting of 2025, a year that will go down as the most consequential and successful first year of any administration. They're saying that, not me.
Halfway.
Oh, I say do, actually, but a lot of people are saying it.
Yeah, whatever.
And a lot of that is thanks to the men and women in the cabinet. The new and improved cabinet room.
We've got war crimes, inflation,
pictures down from the vaults. We have
horrible relations with our
pictures
allies,
that haven't been
yada yada,
exposed to the world for, in many cases, over 100 years. We brought them up, and we're using them as they should be used. But the cabinet room looks beautiful. Like
that's a great list, you know, for your first year in office. Your crowning achievement is hanging up pictures. Nice, cool.
It should now. The Oval Office looks beautiful, like it should. It was not. It was like the rest of the country. It was in disrepair. 1 year ago, our country was dead, and said to me by many leaders, we had a dead country. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's true. The hottest
Very
country
true.
Anywhere in the world. Think of that.
100% real.
In 4 long years
Fact
of the
check by
Biden
real
administration, there were
American
just
patriots.
$1 trillion of new investments in the United States in 10 months. We've secured commitments of over $18 trillion. So they had, in 1 year, less than $1 trillion. That's in a period of 4 years. Think of it. 4 years, they had less than $1 trillion. In 10 months, we have more than $18 trillion. Is that right, Scott? It's even going to be higher than that.
It'll be higher by
And
the
going
end of
up.
the year,
And we're waiting for the Supreme Court case,
Yeah,
and it's so
we know.
important and so vital for this country because we're not only respected again, we're putting out wars by our trade policies, and we're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, and our country is wealthy again and secure again, and it's part of national security, and I hope that goes well. I think it's very
Oh
important.
man,
But
Buddy is
think of the
not
number.
having a
We're
good one
gonna be
from what I
over
hear and from what it sounds
$18
like.
trillion in 10 months, and which is a record times probably 8 or 10 times, I think more than that, for any country. There's never been a country that's had that kind of an investment ever in history. And there's never been a country that's had half of that. It's a tremendous...
Like, just always keep in mind, this is verbally spoken. I won't even say commitments because they're not committed to anything. They're just saying they will do this. This doesn't mean anything. Actual FDI is under Biden levels. Like, it would be great if other countries were investing more in the U.S., obviously for the sake of my fellow countrymen. I hope they follow through with these investments, but so far it's just words. It's not dollars. It's not even contracts.
This thing that's taking place, we have companies moving in from all over the world, from Mexico, from Canada, from Europe, from China, from...
And I have to imagine business leaders are like, okay, I think we'll just say what we need to say till this passes, and then we'll go back to status quo. Maybe there'll be more focus on U.S. to, I guess, appease this more protectionist element. We'll see.
Japan a lot. We just had Toyota's going to spend $10 billion, they just announced, on building new plants in this country. Our workers, they're going to be all workers, but they're spending a tremendous amount. So the stock market is at 46 all-time highs, and this last Friday, which is called Black Friday.
This point means nothing. The stock market should be hitting highs like at least every week, right? Like, we expect the S&P 500 to kind of go in a general trend up and to the right.
Biggest ever online sales that there's ever been by a lot.
I'll find a report on this, but apparently a lot of this was all financed, which is terrifying. Let's see. It was Black Friday sales, buy now, pay later. Holy shit. I disabled it. Don't worry about it. Ah, shit. Fine. Archive.pdf. PH. Tough. Okay. I think if I can find the buy now, pay later represented 747.5 million. Oh no. Okay, buy now, pay later is terrifying. Like, it should not be the case where we have to, we have to finance groceries. Man, so that's like what, 8 or 9% of sales volume was buy now, pay later. Oh my God. People are becoming less solvent too. So a buy now, pay later research study found that these users had an 8.9% increase in overdraft charges, 2.5% increase in credit card interest, and an 8.4% increase in late fees. I don't know what Black Friday does to the American mind, but it causes people to just need to buy. I don't know.
More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. I mean, these are the facts we have to get out. And, you know, there's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about, affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. Just say it.
What? When Americans are financing groceries, affordability means a hell of a lot. And I don't think he realizes that affordability, cost of living, stuff like that was the reason he won. He won because of a promise that making goods in America will give you a higher paying job and goods will cost less. Which, it's like...
Affordability. I inherited the worst inflation in history. There was no affordability. Nobody could afford anything.
You inherited 2.5%.
Prices were massively high. Do you remember when we took over eggs? You did a great job on that, Madam Secretary. Agriculture, Brooke. Eggs were 4 or 5 times higher than they had ever been. They said don't order eggs for Easter at the White House. And we ended up doing it, and we got the egg prices way down, lower than what they were before. But the word affordability is a con job by the Democrats. They say
okay.
I watched the other day.
That's a... all right, you're fucked for the midterms now. Americans are feeling their economic woes even more than when he took office. It's consistently ranked the number one issue. Number 1 and 2 are the economy and inflation. All right, people are terrified of the state of the economy and the price of things. Calling affordability a scam will tank any electoral chances of Republicans going into the midterms.
Where some very low IQ congresswoman talked about affordability. She had no idea. Their prices were much higher. As an example, energy, gasoline, we're now at about $2.50 a gallon. We're going to be, I think, at $2 a gallon. We could even crack that at some point. I'd love to do it. And we could do it more easily if we weren't building up the strategic national reserves, which Biden emptied out before the election so that he could try and get elected, meaning he started it, then he got thrown out of the race. Then she took over and she kept it going, and they emptied out these strategic national reserves, which are really meant for something else. They're not meant to keep people happy with their gasoline price. They're meant for war. They're meant for problems, big problems. He emptied it out, and then she continued it during the process of trying to get elected. Didn't work out too well for
only
him.
Very recently.
And they virtually brought it down.
Okay, so what this is telling us, let's go 5 years. Only very recently has energy prices actually started decreasing at the household level. For most of the admin, for most of this admin, energy prices have been rising. This is percent change, So as it's been above zero, the household energy prices have been rising, except for the last couple months. Just to be clear.
Down to the lowest level, I believe, in history. And it didn't have much of an impact because the prices were very high. But our prices now for energy, but for gasoline, are really low. Electricity's coming down. And when that comes down, everything comes down. But the word affordability is a Democrat scam. They say it, and then they go on to the next subject. And everyone thinks, oh, they had lower prices. No, they had the worst inflation in the history of our country. Now, some people will correct me, because they always love to correct me, even though I'm right about everything. But some people like to correct me, and they say 48 years. I say it's not 48 years, it's much more. But they say it's the worst inflation that we've had in 48 years. I say ever. But whether it's...
What? Okay, I guess. Like, how far back can we view the BLS statistics? This last 50 years? Can we get that graphs? 1929 to 2025. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, inflation down. So where are they citing this massive... Oh. Ending the gold standards after stagflation, I see. I mean, I just necessarily so, 12.3 is higher than 9.1, yeah? I think... year over year, it's only 7. Well, not only 7, obviously, it's a massive number still, but again, it's just he's trying to speak things into reality that aren't real. Hey,
it's 48 years or ever, it's pretty bad. We had the worst inflation that we've ever had. Since last January, we've stopped inflation in its tracks. And there's still more to do. There's always more to do, but we have it down to a very good level. It's going to go down a little bit further. You want to have a little tiny bit of inflation, otherwise that's not good either. Then you have a thing called deflation, and deflation can be worse than inflation. But we have it almost, we'll soon be at
I would love for someone to ask him why that is. Like, the answer is pretty simple. It's just if you don't have inflation or you have deflation, it becomes more valuable to hold currency rather than deploy it into the economy. And obviously, we don't want a stagnant economy. So that's why you want some inflation to incentivize people not to just hold capital. But I would love to see a reporter ask him why.
Perfect level, but we inherited the worst inflation. But we have 20 states that are now selling gasoline at less than the $2.75. Think of that, $2.75.
Oh, I'm
and
thinking
it was at $5 under Sleepy Joe. Grocery prices are down with the cost of Thanksgiving turkey this year down 33%. It was lower than 30.
You already know this stat. Like, I don't know. I will be this petty where I will break down every stat he brings up and why it's wrong. Great value items, less items.
33% lower than under the Biden administration. Egg prices are way down 86%, thank you. And mortgage rates, despite the fact that we have an incompetent chairman of the Fed, a real dope, who should reduce rates. I saw even Jamie Dimon said he should be reducing rates. I never saw Jamie Dimon say that. I wonder why he said that. But he really said it because he's right. But we have a guy that's just a stubborn ox who probably doesn't like your president, your favorite president. But they're going to be coming down. We'll be announcing somebody probably early next year for the new chairman of the Fed.
Yeah, the guy who's gonna announce, what's his name? Hassett, total Trump loyalist, does the whole Scott Bessent thing of appearing like some kind of financial authority, but just spews the administration's bullshit just with a different coding.
And I talked to Scott about taking the job, but he doesn't want it. You got the greatest job here.
Yes, sir.
Right? He said, no, I want to stay chairman. I want to stay right where we are, Treasury. And I think we're doing really great, aren't we? Yeah?
We're doing great, sir, and it's a great team to be part of.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Under my executive order to lower prescription drug prices, which I think is the single biggest thing we've ever done that nobody writes about because you're fake news. I've made unprecedented deals along with
Please say
Bobby
200,
and
400,
Roz,
500%.
all of the people that work on it. A lot of people that you wouldn't even think work on it, but they do, to slash drug prices by 200%, 300%, 400%, 500%, 600%.
How has no reporter ever asked him, what do you mean down by 500%? Because obviously he means it's going to be like, what, an 80% reduction or reduced 5 times? But if you reduce something 500 times, that means you're paying, like you're getting paid to take it. And no reporter, like this is how you know the media isn't as petty as they claim they are. Because, oh man, it would be hilarious to watch a reporter ask, when you say 500%, does that mean you're going to be giving Americans rebates for taking their meds? And then his answer is going to be, what, are you stupid? Are you a stupid person?
700%, 800%.
700%.
Nobody's ever heard of it before because I instituted favored nations.
Can't have any of that woke
and
math.
no nation agreed to do it. And then I said to the nations, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to charge you 100% tariff, which is more money than we're talking about. And they said, sir, we'd love to do it. Please, we would be honored to do it. And they agreed that they would go along with the whole thing. Nobody thought you could do it because they felt, number one, you couldn't get the drug companies to do it. So we're paying, as an example, for let's go with the fat drug, FAT, for fat people. Anybody use it at the table? Don't ask. But the fat drug was $135. Think of that. For certain people, $1,300 for certain countries, $1,300 in New York. So in New York, it was $1,300, and in London, it was $135. And a friend of mine called me, he said, what is this?
Okay, this is because their national health system can negotiate as a monolith. If you're a drug provider or like a drug manufacturer and you want to operate in the UK's market or Germany's market, you have to strike a deal with their National Health Service, otherwise you are shut out of that market. It gives them a very strong negotiating position, whereas the US, we don't have that big national negotiating block, especially with all the cuts to Medicaid. So our drug prices are going to be way higher because we're a bunch of individuals that don't have any power over the prescription drug prices. We don't have any buyer power. It's pretty simple.
Why is it? He got used to paying $1,300. Well, now what we have it down to is, Bobby, what's the number? Like 150 or something? We have it down to a low number, don't we?
Yeah, it's around 100, 125, 150.
Yeah, think of that. So we got it down from $1,300 to $125 to $140, depending on various countries. In other words, we're paying the lowest price, tied for the lowest price in the world. And people said you could never do that because you could.
I'm curious to see the mechanics of this scheme. I guess what he's implying is that he's leaned on other countries to raise their negotiated price so that the drug manufacturers don't take too big of a hit. Maybe?
Couldn't get the countries to agree to it. I did. Every country agreed to it because I said, if you're not going to agree to it, that's okay. I'm going to charge you tariffs. And as soon as I said that, they said, we agree. And then we had to be a little tough with the drug companies, but they came along. The bigger problem was the countries. The countries just wouldn't go along with it, but they did. Every country. So we have reduced drug prices by 500, 600, 700, 800, 900%.
600?
Depending on the drug, depending on hundreds. So we have reduced drug prices by 500, 600, 700, 800, 900%, depending on the drug, depending on the company, depending on all of the different factors involved. Nobody's ever even thought of drug reductions like that, price reductions. And I told you the story that in my first term I was so proud of myself because I reduced drugs. It was the first time in 28 years that drug prices were reduced. It was 1/4%. 1/4%. And I was so proud of myself. I said, it's the first time in 28 years that drug prices went down over the course of a year, over the course of a presidency. 1 year, 1/4%. I had a news conference. I was so proud. Now I got them down, not 1/4%. I got them down 400, 500, 600% and more. And the fake news won't write about it. And it's going to have a huge impact on healthcare because a big part of it's buying drugs, buying prescription drugs. It's going to have a huge positive impact because Obamacare is a disaster. I said it years ago and I say it now. And the money should be paid, taken away from the insurance company. Obamacare was made to make the insurance companies rich.
Yeah, famously, the the person you called communist, Barack Obama, was in it for the insurance companies. Okay.
The stocks have gone up 1,000% in a short period of time because the money goes to the insurance company. I want the money to go to the people. Let all the money go to the people. And
to where?
Let the people go out and buy their own health care.
He has to stop himself from saying insurance because he's said that loop before where it's, oh, the people go out and they buy their own insurance. So it's just an extra step. The problem with this is that you remove that collective bargaining aspect. It's like trying to negotiate a raise without a union or something. Like it's just, you're not going to have as strong of a case.
And I see on television, people are advertising now, we will help you buy health care. We will go out and help you buy. That's becoming like an industry because of what I said. So something's going to happen. It's probably not going to be easy because the Democrats, frankly, they don't want to make a good deal for the people. They just want to make a bad deal for the country. They want to make a bad deal for the Republican Party. But the Republican Party is united, and I will say that what I would like to do is the money doesn't go, trillions of dollars get paid to drug companies, and you still have lousy health care. Obamacare is horrible health care.
Yeah, it's better than no health care. That's the thing. It's cheap health care, but at least it's something. It's supposed to be like a first step, right? It was just supposed to get Americans that couldn't even afford that base level of care on some sort of system. And then we could work to improve it because we're so behind on healthcare. But can't have nice things under a Republican admin.
We wanted to go to the people and then let the people go out and buy their own health care, and they'll do great. They'll do great. So we're negotiating that now with the Democrats. Well, congressional Democrats want the largest tax hike in history. I proudly signed the largest tax cuts in American history with the Great Big Beautiful Bill. The Great Big Beautiful Bill, the biggest piece of legislation ever signed, and that includes the extension of the original.
What happened to my small government Republicans? Why is this a positive? It's the biggest piece of legislation ever signed.
Trump tax cuts, but it's the biggest tax cut ever signed, and it includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security. Nobody's ever seen anything like it, so think of that. And in addition, you get, if you buy a car, this is great for our car industry because we have a lot of car plants. We're bringing back the automobile business. 60% of it was stolen.
Man, he cannot stay on a fucking train of thought.
Or incompetent trade people. But 60% of it was stolen over the years, and now I think we're bringing it all back. I think we'll be bigger than we've ever been in the auto business. That's not even to mention AI, where we're
Hey, how's it going?
leading China. We're leading China by a lot. They're not going to catch us. We have to be smart, but if we're smart, they're not going to be able to catch us. They know that. They told me that. Next year is projected to be the largest tax refund season ever. And we're going to be giving back refunds out of the tariffs because we've taken in literally trillions of dollars.
Doesn't he have to wait until the Supreme Court case figures out? Oh my god! Because if the Supreme Court case goes south for him, pretty sure he has to refund all the companies that have been paying these tariffs. Mutual aid network to trade for a cheap one. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess don't do anything nefarious with it, but yeah, it's cool.
And we're going to be giving a nice dividend to the people, in addition to reducing debt. As you know, I inherited a lot of debt, but it's peanuts compared to the kind of numbers we're talking about. So we're going to be making a dividend to the people. And additionally, we're going to be able to reduce debt. And as time goes by over the next 2, 3, 4 years, those numbers are going to go up. And I believe that at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay. Because
okay, the tariff revenue, even if it is what he's citing, or like the tariff revenue wouldn't even make up half of the income tax. Just by the way. And you can't have it eliminate the federal tax and pay down the debt and be a return like dividend to citizens. Like, you can't have all things all the time.
Because the money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous, that you're not going to have income tax to pay. Whether you get rid of it or just keep it around for fun or have it really low, much lower than it is now, but you won't be paying income tax. We've slashed $1 trillion in costly job-killing regulations, saving Americans an estimated $2,100.
How much really is the tariff revenue? So first quarter, I think it was 130 something billion. Second quarter, I think it's 320 something billion. We'll look it up. Tariff revenue by quarter. Yeah. So, yeah. So Q1 2025 96 is this million, yeah, billion, and then 267 billion last quarter. We're still waiting on Q3 numbers because this admin does not want to release any fucking numbers. Like, they said they're not releasing the jobs report, obviously, or the unemployment rate or whatever. So there's another company that does like payroll processing that has usually pretty good estimates of what the employment levels are going to be. They're estimating negative 10,000 jobs this month. Yeah. So I just don't believe your eyes.
For a family of four.
Or your ears, rather.
The Biden administration was the exact opposite, but times four. They went up $6,000. We went down $2,100. Think of that. To bring down energy, electricity, and utility prices, I ended the Green New scam. They call it the Green New scam, one of the greatest scams in the history of our...
Yeah, no, I know. Ironic, if he wants to do these dividends, I think he'd have to borrow to do them, which is just... And somehow Republicans will still try and tell you it's a good deal.
Country. They talked about global warming and all that crap, and what they've done to this country. What they've done by allowing 25 million people into our country, many of...
Dude, you can see the way his brain works. It's boing, 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 boing. We were talking about tariff revenue. Now we're on illegal immigration, or legal immigration, because asylum is a legal status, just by the way.
Whom are criminals, many of whom, 11,888 are murderers, and we have to get them out, and we're doing it. We're doing it. I think what the job that our law enforcement groups are doing, Christy, you and Tom and everybody, amazing. What you're doing is amazing.
This is rough.
I terminated the insane electric vehicle mandate. And look, some people that make electric cars weren't happy with that. But we have to do that because
Still
you have to have a
salty about
choice,
his
whether it's
breakup
a
with Musk.
gasoline-powered
That was so
car.
sad. My heart
And we have
just
so much
bleeds.
gasoline. You know, China doesn't have gasoline. We do. And whether it's a hybrid, which really are working really well, the combination of electric and gasoline-driven. But we, everybody was supposed to, by 2030, everybody had to own an electric car under the Biden stupidity.
That was a goal. Oh,
And not everybody wants
Lip
to do that. I
service,
like
if
electric
anything.
cars. I like all cars. They're all good. They all have reasons. But you want to be able to go and buy what you want. I opposed historic tariffs that are now bringing in so much money that we've
Okay.
nobody's ever seen anything like it. And countries that were ripping us off, including allies, but they were ripping us off for years. I won't use the names. I won't mention Japan. I refuse to mention South Korea. I will not mention names. But they were ripping us off like nobody's ever
morons
been ripped off
laughing
before,
alongside.
and taking horrible advantage of your country. But now we're making a lot of money. We're making a lot of money because of the tariffs that are pouring in. And it's really national security. Among everything else, it's national security. We've also rapidly turned the worst border crisis in world history. I believe we had the worst border ever in history. I don't care if you had a fourth world country. You know, we allow third world country in. We would allow fourth world countries in also.
Okay. I mean, I guess it's not surprising. It doesn't know where the term third world comes from. But
It doesn't matter. There was never a border that was as bad as our border. We allowed anybody in with no checks, no vetting. So we've rapidly turned the worst border crisis in world history into the strongest border in the history of our country, and probably one of the strongest borders in the history of the world, because we have nobody coming through. And I want to
you think there might be a reason other countries don't want to have nobody coming
thank
in?
our people. The Border Patrol is so amazing, ICE, and I want to thank the military for the backup, because they're standing right behind them, and that was really nasty for a period of months, and now it's no longer nasty. Now they don't even come up. Nobody comes up. It's an easy job. It made your job a lot easier because they know they're not going to get through. And we take people in, but they have to come in legally. For 6 months in a row, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States. You believe that? 0. We had millions of people coming in a year, millions. Now we have 0 for 6 months, and these are given by radical left people that do the numbers. I mean, they're not doing them any favor. They're being we don't have our net numbers are unbelievable, but we had 0 people in the last 6 months. Illegal border crossings along the U.S.-Mexico border have plummeted to the lowest level ever recorded. And nobody talks about that anymore. You know, it's crazy. They don't talk about it. You think they'd say, well, Trump's done a great job in the border. This country is being destroyed by the border. But you always find something new. Like, is he in good health? Biden was great.
You're not.
But is Trump in good health? I sit here, I do 4 news conferences a day. I ask questions from very intelligent lunatics, you people. And I give the right answers. There's never a scandal. There's never a problem. I give you
He's underwater on
answers
immigration.
that solve your little
And
problems.
it seems like it's going.
You go back, and you can't find anything, but you do stories about Biden was in wonderful health. The guy didn't do a news conference for 8 months. If I go one day, I had one day where I didn't do a news conference, there's something wrong with the president. You people are crazy. I'll let you know when there's something wrong. There will be someday. That's going to happen to all of us. But right now, I think I'm sharper than I was 25 years ago. But who the hell knows? By the way, I took my physical. I got all A's, everything. But they said to me,
You got an A on the
Hey,
prostate
would you like to
exam,
take
buddy?
a cognitive test? I said, is it hard? They said yes. I said, well, I'm a very smart person. Who was the last president to take one? No president has ever agreed to take one. Because when you
Because it's a dementia test. Oh my God.
get into the mid questions, meaning, 10, question number 10, 11, 12, 28, 30, they get harder and harder. And they said, would you like to do it? I said, well,
This is the test, by the
no reason to
way.
do it. Nobody's ever done it.
Name
I'll do
a
it maybe,
horse.
But there's really no reason.
Sucker.
They said, sir, the problem is this is Walter Reed Hospital. And that's a military hospital. And that means that things are,
Name words that start
sort of
with
open. It's not
B.
like private.
And you need to think of
if
11
you do
words.
poorly,
Repeat
we'll
sentences.
have to, probably you'll find out. They said, I won't do poorly. I'm a smart person, not a stupid person. And as the doctor will tell you, I aced it. Right, Susie? I aced. I got every question right. And these are tough questions. These are questions that I would say 99% of the people that I'm talking to right now, meaning the people from the fake news, would not do well in those exams. But I'm the only one that took it. I got every single question right. And then I read in the New York Times, is Trump sharp? Trump is sharp, but they're not sharp.
Nice.
That's why
You
they're
had to
going out of
slur
business,
that
the New
one.
York Times. I hear that they're losing so much money, it's ridiculous. They're a bunch of fakers. But we can never let another thing happen like what happened to us with a fake election, with a rigged election, where a guy like Joe Biden assumes the presidency. Because the man was grossly incompetent. And he was incompetent 30 years ago. But he was really incompetent for those last few years. And our country was put at great danger because of it. So for 6 months in a row, we had 0 people. Illegal border crossings along the U.S.-Mexico border have plummeted to the lowest level ever.
about the
Think of
Canadians?
that. And the net benefit to our country is enormous, incalculable. America is strong and respected again. On the world stage, we're really respected. In fact, I went to a NATO and they were calling me the president of Europe. We're doing very well. We have a lot of respect. As you know, we have a problem with a war that our people are trying to settle now with Russia and Ukraine. We are not involved in the war monetarily anymore. Biden gave away $350 billion like it was candy. That's a massive amount of money.
To a cause that we ought to support. We formed all these alliances, like in a Soviet, post-Soviet world, to defend against the threat of Russia. You guys got so mad at Obama for saying that, what the 1970s called, they want their foreign policy back, to Romney. And then you're sitting here acting like Russia's buddy-buddy. Like, no. Russia's a threat. I don't think they're our greatest threat. I would argue that that's China. But I could see how reasonable minds would disagree. That being said, Russia's not a friend. We have all these alliances set up so that they don't expand. Ukraine is fighting the conflict that's been building for the last 80 years, post World War II, and we hung them out to fucking dry. It's so disgusting.
And much of it in cash, a lot of it in equipment. I don't give away anything. We sell the equipment to NATO. The European nations pay us for the equipment, 100% price, and then they bring it to Ukraine or whatever they do with it. But we're trying to get that settled. I've settled 8 wars. This would be the 9th.
Our greatest threat is right-wingers. Oops, I said it. I think the greatest threat right now to democracy is this MAGA-style wannabe authoritarians. I don't think the fundamental concepts of conservatism are a threat to democracy. I do think the Trump style is.
People are over in Russia right now to see if we can get it settled. Not an easy situation, let me tell you. What a mess. It's a war that never would have happened if I were president. Not even a chance. And it didn't happen for 4 years. We've renamed the Department of Defense the Department of War, and I thought that would be controversial. And frankly, I tell you what, I haven't met one person. There's not one person I've met that doesn't like it.
I don't like any authoritarian movements. Bold take. I would agree. Jonathan Swift, 89.
You know, think of it. We won World War I, World War II, everything in between, everything before it. And then we said, let's change the name. So we changed it back to what it was, Department of War, and Pete's doing a great job. We ended 8 wars. Think of that. 8 wars, but we're going to do one more, I think. I hope. Every time I end a war, they say, if President Trump ends that war, he's going to get the Nobel Prize.
Who? Who is saying this? As Pete's down in the South committing war crimes. The Nobel Prize? Yeah, fucking right.
If I end that war, well, he won't get it for that war, but if he ever gets it for the next war, now they're saying, if he ever ends the war with Russia and Ukraine, he's going to get the Nobel Prize. What about the other 8 wars? India, Pakistan. Think of all the wars I ended.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. We are center left here. Not Russia shills, not communists. Just, you know, I'm center left, liberal ass Democrat. He's such a narcissist. It's insane. And he is really slipping. Like, we can watch some shit from 2016. People thought he was a little loopy then. He's so much lower energy, more disconnected than ever. Like, Buddy is losing his mind. And he's, like, slurring his words now, too. It's just, I don't know.
I should get the Nobel Prize for every war, but I don't want to be greedy. Actually, the woman who got the Nobel Prize said, "You've got to be kidding. Trump deserves the Nobel Prize." So that was very nice of her. I appreciate it, which is true, actually. But I don't care about that. You know what I care about? I care about death. I care about all the people that are dying. And last month, 27,000 young people died, mostly young people, mostly soldiers, despite some missiles being shot into Kiev and other places. But think of it, mostly young people. 27,000 people died between Russia and Ukraine last month. What a shame. So we're restoring law and order.
Yeah, no, he couldn't give less of a shit about.
Will you shut up?
Hey, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Oh my god, 120 followers. Let's fucking go. Appreciate that. Oh wow, that's a very intrusive noise. At least in my headphones. I don't know about you guys.
Order to our cities and towns. If you look at what's happened, and I want to pay my deepest respects to those 2 incredible people from the National Guard in West Virginia. They came from. I spoke to their parents.
Oh fuck.
Sarah is gone. She passed away. She's looking down on us now, and she loves her parents, and they loved her. They were. Somebody said, "How are they doing?" I said, "The word is devastated." Doing. How are they going to do? They're devastated. The rest of their lives they're going to be devastated. She was an incredible person, highly respected, top of her class, everything. She was like a perfect human being. 20 years old, just started. She was like a baby. She was so proud. They were giving her a promotion, and she told her parents that she was getting a promotion, and they were so proud of her. Then they get a call that this happened. And we have one young man who's fighting for his life. He's fighting very hard.
Do we have any more
I think
info
he's probably
on
doing better than anybody. And they said he didn't have a chance. I'll tell you, the one who said he's going to live is his mother. He spoke to his mother. Sir,
I don't know
he's
if we've learned anything new about
very soon after this
motives or
horrible
anything
event
like
took
that.
place with this scum that is able to come into our country. I spoke to his mother. Sir, he's going to be okay. I'm telling you. No doctor thought that. Nobody thought that. He was hitting bad places, and she was like so positive. It was incredible. And it's possibly right, Pam, right? Possibly right. Boy, it would be amazing. If he lives, it would be amazing. A miracle, actually. But we're very proud of those two people. We're very proud of the National Guard. We're very proud of our military.
They shouldn't have been in D.C. in the first place. Like, the point of the National Guard being there was so Trump could antagonize, so he could project power on people. And by doing so, he's putting people in harm's way. He's ramping up the temperature, raising tensions. I'm not saying, like, this, we don't know anything about this guy's motives. It could have absolutely nothing to do with anything related to immigration. We don't know. But part of Trump's intention is to ratchet up the rhetoric, to make things more extreme, more tense.
And our police and our firemen and women, if you go back and take a look a year ago, year and a half ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to see horseshoe theory pan out more and more. It is kind of wild how you end up at a point where you end up supporting Russia on either side, which is wild.
It all changed, I think, on November 5th, the day of the election. But you go back before that, you couldn't get people to join the military, Pete, right? They didn't want anything to do with military. They wanted nothing to do with joining the police or the fire. They wanted nothing to do with anything. They had no spirit. The country it had no spirit, nothing. And now we just had the highest recruitment in history. And we're getting great people. We're getting great people. And I will say, despite what just happened, Washington, D.C. is...
That's a good comment. Sir, what would you like to eat today? Trump's response, I want a steak, but Biden and the media were saying, oh, I'm not fit when I only eat steak, so I don't know, maybe I shouldn't, but I think I will.
Become a really safe place. And I guess this lunatic probably was upset that the National Guard is so effective, because we were really...
Effective at what? Nothing against our National Guard. Like, we love them. But also, they don't have policing power. That's not what the military does. Like, yeah, like they're not a police force. They don't have policing powers. So for what other purpose are they there? Placed by Trump, like, again, not at the election of the individual National Guards members, other than to be like a projection of force and antagonize.
Really, really effective, and we are. And Washington, D.C. is now considered a very, very safe city. We had crime numbers a year ago that
Yeah, we don't support anyone that's a threat to liberalism. Big fan of liberalism here.
was so bad. Embarrassment that the city, the capital of this country, could have numbers like that. And Washington now is, no murders, no this. It's been a miracle also what happened here. And now we're in Memphis and we're going to New Orleans pretty soon. Over there, the governor called me. He'd like to have us go there. Governor Landry, great guy, great governor. He's asked for help in New Orleans, and we're going to go there in a couple of weeks. And we're doing a real job. Even Chicago's down a little bit because we have a minor force there. We could knock it down within 4 or 5 weeks. We could bring it down to almost nothing. But we have a governor that's grossly incompetent, and we have a mayor that's even more incompetent than the governor. He's a very low IQ person. And typically low IQ people don't make good mayors.
It's such a projection.
So
this low IQ thing. I don't know if he said this before in like 2016 or his first presidency. This feels like a relatively new dig he's using. I don't know if he got an IQ test back or something and it said 70, but yeah, no, I mean, Well, there's difference between far left and illiberal left. Like, you could be like a social democrat. Like, even Mamdani isn't like illiberal. He's just like far left. That's fine. But if you want to like abandon the democratic system or move to a fully state-controlled economy, then that's not something I'd be on board with.
Thank all of our cabinet members. They're high IQ. Let me see, one. Yeah, generally
That's
speaking.
the first funny joke he's told all
A
day.
couple I'm a little concerned about. No, but I want to thank, we have a great cabinet, an amazing cabinet, amazing people. All of them, sort of have become stars. We're getting credit for the good cabinet, actually. And I just want to wish everybody a great holiday.
Yeah, anyone who unabashedly supports Israel or unabashedly supports Hamas is definitely something to raise eyebrows at. Like, there's that conflict is such a cesspool of there's like nothing. Nobody's in the clear. I guess
We've, I think, done a great job with the White House, bringing the White House back. You see the Palm Court that was redone. The Lincoln bedroom was redone. The Lincoln bathroom is now gorgeous, like it should have been. It was terrible green tile that was never the way it was supposed to be. It was done in the 1940s, actually, but it was not proper. And we're restoring the White House just like we're restoring the country, and people are thrilled. But the First Lady's done a beautiful job with the Christmas trees and all the decorations. I see the wreaths on the windows. I've never seen that before.
has anyone heard about the Melania thing where she said, "I don't give a shit about Christmas" or something like that? Eventually, maybe. I don't know. Right now, the direction is let's have a healthy level of government intervention where it's healthy, and let the markets decide when the markets are more efficient. I just don't think a planned economy is as malleable and adaptable as a market economy. Or ideally a mixed economy.
On the windows of the White House. And it's 4 stories high. I said, how did they get that wreath? They had people going up in a little dangerous.
I see this big construction guy. Dude, okay.
I wouldn't want to do it. But they put them up, and we have wonderful people working in the White House, and they're really proud to bring the building back. Because this building was a little bit like the country. It was mishandled, it was mistreated, and now it's being given love. And we're building one of the great, I think, maybe the greatest ballroom. We needed it for 150 years. They've been asking. You see the trucks and cranes and excavators in the background, and you hear them. And every time I hear them, I love the sound. To me, I love the sound. I wouldn't say my wife is thrilled. She hears pile drivers in the background all day, all night. They go till 12 o'clock in the evening, day, night, pile drivers. Darling, could you turn off the pile drivers? Sorry. Darling, that's progress. But no, we're doing great. It's going to be I think it's going to be the finest ballroom ever built, and we're going to have.
It's going to be bigger than the White House, and it's going to be privately funded, which is such an insult to the people's house.
Here, they've wanted it for 150 years. Think of that. So I will just end by saying I want to thank the cabinet. It's been a great cabinet. Let's think of it. Time flies, but this is
Who's getting fired first, Patel or Hegseth?
our last of the year, as I said, and I just think you've done a fantastic job. And we're going to go around the room. We'll go quickly, but we're going to go around the room, and we'll start with Pete, and you'll tell us about some of the achievements. And some of you have achievements that are so big.
War crimes speedrun. Holy shit. I think the most dangerous person in this cabinet is Pete Hegseth. He is grossly incompetent. And like, none of them are competent, but Pete Hegseth is in a position to fuck things up the most. And within like a couple months of this like Southcom operation launching, there's already war crimes. The White House, sponsored by Apple and Meta. Call this number now to order your brand new iPhone 15 with Meta AI.
I don't want you to go through the whole thing because we don't have time. But we'll start with Pete, and then if you want, we'll take some questions at the end. Please, Pete.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. As you said, it has been a historic year at the Department of War. Recruiting and retention over this year are at the most historic levels our country has ever seen. I had a chance to be on a aircraft
Except
carrier
for
destroyer over
generals and
Thanksgiving. The
majors,
spirit
right?
in our ranks since the election under President Trump is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it as a soldier myself in uniform, and I know a lot of you feel the same way. We've ripped out the DEI and the political correctness. It's all merit-based at the department. We're getting back to basics: accountability, training, readiness, lethality, and that's reviving that spirit. And Mr. President, we're rebuilding
Especially
the
against
military
shipwreck
historic investments.
survivors.
I just took briefings on the Golden Dome and F-47, next generation capabilities that are going to make sure that for generations to come, America has the most powerful, most
He's
capable,
so
most
sleepy.
lethal military in the world, which you have rebuilt once and we're rebuilding again. And then we're reestablishing deterrence and credibility. If you look at what happened, we deal with every day the outcome of what happened in Afghanistan, the debacle under Joe Biden. We just dealt with it in
That Trump set up and then got out right before all the hard stuff had to happen. And Biden just followed his plan, more or less.
the streets of Washington, D.C. with those two National Guardsmen. And then what happened on October 7th with Hamas, what happened in Ukraine, a war that never would have started. under
Yeah,
President
that's
Trump.
not surprising. Are you Canadian?
Having to rebuild that. So whether it's freedom of navigation and taking the fight to the Houthis, whether it's Midnight Hammer, those beautiful B-2s going 37 hours back and forth, undetected, delivering with precision, and Iran not getting nuclear capabilities, Europe and NATO stepping up to 5%, locking down our southwest border. It's been an honor to work with Christy and Tom and everyone else down there to lock it to zero.
British.
Operational
Okay, there's a 50-50 chance. I don't get American viewers. I only get British and Canadian viewers. Sometimes Swedish.
control of our border. And then it's getting after and going after narco-terrorists and designated terrorist organizations in our own hemisphere. As I've
The
said,
word
I'll
narco-terrorist
say again, we've
did
only
not
just
exist
begun
before this
striking
happened.
narco boats and putting narco-terrorists at the bottom of the ocean because they've been poisoning the American people. And Joe Biden tried to approach it with kid gloves. And allowed them to come across the border, cartels take over community, 20 million people, hundreds of thousands of Americans poisoned. And President Trump said, no, we're taking the gloves off. We're taking the fight to these designated terror organizations, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we're stopping the drugs, we're
Falling
striking the
asleep,
boats,
man.
we're defeating narco-terrorists, and we're standing...
I heard he actually falls asleep during Rubio's speech.
Peter, you may say one thing, that drugs coming in through the sea by sea are down 91%.
I mean, they've managed to ruin this nation. It's not irreparable at this point. It's just going to take a long time. How to ruin the richest nation to ever exist in 4 years. They've done it in one, man. Fenty villains. There you go.
And I don't know who the 9% is,
I'm not sure either, sir, because
but down 91% by sea.
we've had a bit of a pause because it's hard to find boats to strike right now. Which is the entire point, right? Deterrence has to matter, not arrest and hand over and then do it again, the rinse and repeat approach of
Arrest to try. We don't know if these guys, if they're going to come out with some stat. It's like 90% of the people we've killed are drug traffickers. It's like 10% innocence is not an acceptable number when arresting them is a viable option.
previous administrations. This is meant to get after
That's
that
a
approach. And I would
hypothetical
just end
number,
by saying,
fair.
as President Trump always has our back, we always have the back of our commanders who are making decisions in difficult situations, and we do in this case and all these strikes. They're making judgment calls and ensuring that they defend the American people. They've done.
Pete Hegseth. Oh, that's a terrible freeze frame. I was trying to think of a pun to work in for Hegseth and war crimes. I think Hague-Seth or something like that might be the. Yeah, apparently the evidence shown to Congress is not wonderful.
And the right things, we'll keep doing that, and we have their backs, Mr. President.
Good job. Thank you very much. Howard?
So we set out to stop the ripoff of the United States of America. This is about global change of trade. We've been ripped off since 1945 when we set this policy. So we set out, and together with my partners, Jameson Greer and Scott Bessent, we set out to change that. So we started, the first one was the UK deal, right? We asymmetric. They pay us 10%, and we get charged nothing. That allows us to export, and that began the process. Then we did the biggest, the European Union, 450 million people, $20 trillion economy. They completely.
Yeah, they know fucking nothing about it. They were trying to sell to the American people that tariffs aren't a tax, when it's like the only people that a tariff hurts, like the money comes out of consumers' pockets because you raise the domestic price level, or you raise the global price level relative to domestic buyers, so more people are going to buy, or more domestic manufacturers are going to be willing to manufacture at that price. So it's artificial, and you're just making things worse for consumers.
Completely open their borders to us, and we charge them 15%. That makes America $100 billion a year and turns it back to where our economy is the best. And so it proved
People
that
at the
President
bottom
Trump's
get hit the
trade
most, yeah.
agenda was the right trade agenda. Then we go to Japan and Korea. They offer us $750 billion in cash to build in America at the president's direction. And we're going to start, as an example, nuclear, right? We need to have a nuclear arsenal in America of power, the generation of power. So we're going to build hundreds of billions of dollars, financed by the Japanese and the Koreans, meaning they give us the.
Well, this is yeah. A degree in economics is a powerful thing. It's good to know. I got my degree in finance, but I actually tutor economics now because I took it in high school, college, and then I actually took it again when I studied abroad in London. So it's interesting stuff, and these fuckers do not get it, or they do get it and they're just lying.
The money, we build it here, and we split the cash flow 50-50. We're going to build ships, $150 billion worth of ships in America. That changes the way things work, right? After those trade deals, then you go to how are we going to reshore, right? Let's start talking about the auto industry.
Oh, cool.
Right? We've been competed against by
Went to I did a semester at City University.
Koreans, the Japanese, the Europeans were kicking our tail. President Trump changed it. 25% tariffs, bring it all home. This year, General Motors stock up 40%. Ford up 34%. And on the same day that we announced we had set all the...
This is the motherfucker that said, you know how you find the fraudsters? It's the people that call and complain when they miss a Social Security check. Like, fuck you, dude.
Tariffs. Sean Fain, the head of the United Auto Workers, called and said, I can't believe I'm calling a Republican Secretary of Commerce to tell the president that this is the greatest administration for auto workers in America. Stocks up and auto workers up. That proves that President Trump understands how to take care of.
Oh my god, I forgot. It does actually say SS Secretary. Either it's a mistake or there is a god tier troller at the White House. Cause that, hang on. Cause that is insane. Oh, that's... Yeah. Sorry. SS Secretary. a real patriot in the White House that makes these signs? Oh man, of all the letters to type twice, oh no. I think we got a troller on our hands.
The whole ecosystem, both the companies and, more importantly, the people who work there. Semiconductors, right? We didn't build any. The Biden CHIPS Act was a $60 billion giveaway, right? We've now turned that. $300 billion is committed to America. That's going to go up to $750 billion in the next 60 days, right? And then you go to pharmaceuticals, right? $250 billion being invested in America, and then working together with Bobby Kennedy, right? Pounding away on that MFN, working together as a joint team. They're coming to over $250 billion and cutting prices in half. We did the golden share of U.S. Steel to make sure the Mon Valley is protected.
I
Intel gave us 10%
guy.
of the company, make tens of billions of dollars.
These fake licenses.
I don't care about Sean Duffy.
Company responsible, and it'll
This thing's 2 hours, so we're gonna skip some of that.
Faster. Months.
go ahead, please.
So at Housing and
Oh my
Urban
God.
Development, in keeping with living, Department
putting as a Marco, I want to thank you and much
Tens of trillions of dollars that have come in investment, both the
We'll listen to a little bit
portfolio
of Scott.
investment by companies, investment by countries, that is turning into a capex boom for the U.S. Capital expenditures up 15% in history. When capex is up, jobs will follow. The One Big Beautiful Bill is an incredible, as you said, thanks to your leadership, along with Speaker Johnson, Senator Leader Thune, we had that done on July 4th, which everyone said was impossible. And the great thing about that bill, sir, for the American people, it's for industry, 100% expensing, build your factory here, you can write it off immediately, but you also...
Yeah, isn't that just bonus depreciation? Can you do depreciation of building? Actually, I'm not sure.
insisted on the 4 benefits for working people: no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, auto deductibility for American cars, and that is retroactive. So as a result, in 2026, we are going to see very substantial tax refunds in the first quarter. So the best way to address the affordability crisis is to give Americans more money in their pockets, which is what this bill has done. We're going to see real wage increases. I think next year is going to be a fantastic year. Taxes, deregulation, energy certainty. That's why everyone with your leadership is coming to America. Bond market had its best year.
Democrats were raising taxes while congressional Republicans under
I'm
the
like
president's
skipping
leadership
through
were now cutting
and
taxes.
trying to find
Why
someone
did
who's
food
worth
get so
listening
expensive?
to.
Because we printed trillions of dollars and threw it into green scams that made our agricultural economy suffer while Americans were paying higher prices for food. On
Holy
every
fuck.
single one of
Did he
those issues,
bleach his
Mr. President, I
eyebrows?
think we've made incredible progress. But it would be preposterous to
Why is his eyebrows so bushy?
fix every problem caused over the last 4 years in just 10 months. I think that we've done incredibly good. But what I see over the next
You
year,
think so?
and you heard Brooke talk about joy and gratitude. What I really think this season represents for me, and I think for the entire administration, is that we have now done incredible work to fix what Joe Biden broke. And I think that next year in American growth and American prosperity.
Like, these people should be on their knees thanking and praising Joe Biden for getting inflation down before they came into office so that they didn't have to deal with it with their shit policies. Like, I mean, obviously, I'd give more credit to the Fed for getting inflation down because that's their job. But, like, inflation that they handed off was like 2.9%. Still above target, but not by much. It's higher now than what they inherited, which is beyond parity.
Could be the best year that we've had in the United States of America It's going to happen because we're all working hard. It's going to happen because we have the greatest country in the world. But I think for congressional Democrats in particular, if they want to talk about affordability, they ought to look in the mirror. We are fixing what they're broken. We're proud to do it. It's the job that we were elected to do. But I think 2026 is going to be the year where this economy really takes off.
Just trust us, bro. Yeah, no. You have not. You've given us no reason to trust you. Things have only gotten worse.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Pam?
President Trump, thank you for talking about Sarah. Heartbreaks for her family. And Andy is doing well. His parents, Melody and Jason, wanted me to tell you, and I was with them yesterday in the hospital. He's a miracle. I was there when the surgeons came in, and they wanted you to know this. He's a miracle, and if everyone in this country can continue to pray for that family. He's got a long road ahead of him, but he is a miracle. And of course, our DC initiative is led by our amazing, and the monster will be held accountable who did this. Our marshals, of course, are leading the DC Safe effort. We have made over 7,000 arrests at your direction. DC is safe again. Working with everyone around this table, Pete and everyone, Scott.
Yes, UNTV is absolutely correct. It is a statistical fact that Democratic presidents leave their Republican successors with a strong economy, and the Republican sinks it, then a Democrat fixes it. On repeat, over and over and over again. I think the only exception to this was Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan. Like, another thing, too, if you really want to mindfuck yourself into wondering how conservatives get to be the fiscally responsible party, look at what happens to the deficit under a conservative or a Republican versus what happens to the deficit under a Democrat. You would expect, the Democrats like to spend. The deficit's going to expand more. No. It either contracts or expands much less because Democrats are willing to pair their spending with revenue increases via taxes. Republicans want to have all these nice programs, but also get all the credit for cutting taxes. And that's the fiscally responsible thing. It's...
And I were in Memphis together last week. And everyone, and Bobby, your HHS.
Well, I mean, he inherited a very stagnant economy.
Doctors and medics are on the ground to help people in Memphis and DC. In Memphis, we've made over 3,500 arrests so far. And Homeland Security, Christy, you've been instrumental in this. But it's everyone working together as a team. We even have Treasury agents out there. It's unbelievable on the ground in DC and Memphis, of course.
I'm not a Reagan fan by any stretch of the imagination.
Law enforcement first, FBI, Kash Patel has led the FBI. We have a 100% increase in the arrest of violent criminals, thanks to your leadership. DEA, led by Terry Cole, over 45 million fentanyl pills, 4,200 kilos fentanyl powder. That is the equivalent of 30...
One night at Hunter Biden's house. I'm joking.
347 million potential lethal doses.
I mean, it will. If you ask it for statistics, it'll try and be very fair. Fair as in unbiased, but if you ask it for like direct numbers, it'll say, okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, okay, the Republicans are generally worse on this, but yada yada. It's like, you just... I'm mad at the robot for not taking a stand.
That's unbelievable that you've taken off the streets of our country. And the weight of all the drugs combined taken off by DEA is the weight of 17 full semi-trucks of the drugs just since you've been in office. The drugs that had flowed into this country.
What are these stats? It's... The most convincing stat was like, we've taken enough fentanyl off the street to like, that could kill every American 7 times over. That's a hard-hitting statistic. Like, I don't know what you want me to take from. We've taken the equivalent weight of 7 semi-trucks. Oh, yeah, true. He did just pardon a drug trafficker. That did just happen.
Under the previous administration. ATF, led by Rob Sakata, has seized more than 31,000 illegal guns. 31,000. Unbelievable at your leadership. 19,000 of those were from trafficking
Democrat
cases.
guns.
We've been sued on the legal front now. We have been sued 575 times. 575 times. More than every administration going back to Reagan combined.
Did these people have no self-reflection? Like, hello, why might that be? You've committed more crimes than any administration. Oh, my Lord.
Most recently, yesterday, I was sued by an immigration judge who we fired. One of the reasons, she said she was a woman. Last I checked, I was a woman as well. 24 Supreme Court wins, President Trump, 92% success rate. We told you it would take a while to get to the Supreme Court. We're doing it at record speed, led by John Sauer, of course, Sarah and Hosh, all working together. Immigration, we're winning. Nationwide injunctions, ending DEI funding, working to secure that our federal workforce is aligned with your America First agenda, representing pretty much everyone in.
Pardoning CZ was America First. Pardoning the Honduran former president. Making deals with our adversaries. Yeah, this is a North Korean propaganda meeting where it's like everyone go around the table. No, it's like, no, actually, that's too much credit. It's a kindergartner's birthday party. It's go around the table and everyone say something nice about the birthday boy.
In this room, we met with your general counsel yesterday, Doug. Met with, working with everyone. It's nonstop.
Also, remember, always, Republicans hate her, or MAGA hates her, because she's not arresting enough people, or trying enough people.
ICE, of course, we're winning there with Christie. We're Brooke, SNAP benefits, won there. Marco, USAID. Pete, National Guard, of course, going nonstop. Our U.S. attorneys are fighting violent crime, working around the clock to make America safe again, which was your directive. Our Civil Rights Division, suing Gavin Newsom 3 times now, Prop 50, keeping boys out of girls' sports, and in-state tuition for illegal aliens.
Who doesn't MAGA hate? That's a good question.
We've sued over election integrity.
I don't know what the ideal
We are
MAGA person
litigating
is.
major universities with Linda. Thank you, our Civil Rights Division, for everything that you've done to end DEI in our schools. Our Civil Division fighting sanctuary cities every single day. And of course, our Antitrust Division with Google. Major settlement. Our attorneys are working on terrorism, TDA, MS-13, Antifa, President Trump.
Steve Bannon. There's a MAGA split. There's like this tech bro, H-1B pro. I am fully in support of H-1B visas, by the way, side of MAGA. But then there's the ultra protectionist, anti-all immigrants, like the Bannon types. Like Candace Owens, I have no idea. She's even more brain broken than she's been in the past. I think she might have legitimately developed like schizophrenia or something. Like, she is insane.
We've charged more than 500 defendants with assault on federal officers thanks to your directive. And also, we have dropped countless cases against Americans that were prosecuted under the Biden administration, including J6, COVID, FACE Act, and more. And as everyone knows, we cannot talk about pending grand jury investigations, but no one is above the law, and that includes.
Except the president, as the Supreme Court said, so that Trump didn't go to jail. All because of the fact that she claimed Macron's wife is a man? Surely I'm sure the French government cares enough about Candace Owens making a claim that pretty much everyone on the right has made. She's nuts, man.
What happened?
They don't care about you, little bro.
In Arctic frost. I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Holidays. Thank you for fighting for our country.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, Laura.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for allowing me to be at this table. When I came on board, I knew really none of you.
We're out work team.
Make sure she's fighting for us in court so that we can get up every day and be bold. We're going to hire our 10,000th ICE officer. Will be on the job within 10 days. So we have hired 10,000. We've had hundreds of thousands of applications. We've got within the department, TSA went through this government shutdown without any delays. They all showed up for their shifts and worked hard doing security. And they have been absolutely fantastic. Sir, you made it through hurricane season without a hurricane. Yeah. And so FEMA, you kept the hurricanes away. So we appreciate that. And FEMA is deploying resources and dollars 150% faster than ever before. So somebody does have something bad that happens to them, you are immediately there helping them and telling them they have the resources to get back up on their feet. So we have built and deployed hundreds of miles of border already. You have cut the fentanyl flow over the southern border by over 56%. You've saved hundreds of millions.
Okay, according to a Daily Mail investigation. Kristi Noem's ICE hiring chaos laid bare as fat, illiterate, and violent misfits. Oh my God.
Of lives with the cocaine you've blown
I'll
up
read this on the
in the
side.
Caribbean. And, you told me to look into Minnesota and their fraud on visas and their programs. 50% of them are fraudulent, which means that wacko Governor Walz either is an idiot or he did it on purpose. And I think he's both, sir. He brought people in there illegally that never should have been in this country, said they were somebody that they're not. They said they were married to somebody who was their brother or
None of this is true.
somebody else. Fraudulent visa applications, signed up for government programs, took hundreds of billions of dollars from the taxpayers, and we're going to remove them and we're going to get our money back. And we're going to, this next year, make sure that we only put people in leadership positions in this country that love this country and have its back. So thank you for letting us get up every day and have a purpose. We appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Mr. President, you're exactly right. We are saving this country. We're doing it one Main Street at a time, and we're doing it at record speed and at record levels. Under your leadership, small business optimism, according to the U.S. Chamber Index for small businesses, has reached an all-time high in the history of that index. So,
what is this? So what are they arguing? Oh, just about Candace's unhinged statements about Charlie Kirk? Yeah, okay.
on Main Street, the economy is coming back thanks to your leadership, thanks to getting Biden inflation under control. Small business is number one.
Previous administration canceled expensive.
Incredibly hard at work.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's wild. Okay, I can't listen to RFK. I'm mostly interested in Rubio. Because, like, there's still part of me that has some faith that Rubio, in some way, can slightly pull things in the direction of the general interests of the U.S. But at least in the Russia-Ukraine talks, it looks like he's being overshadowed by Witkoff, who's just a real estate guy that Trump likes. So, we'll see.
Every single one that's on. Mr. President, first of all, this is a very talented team, as you've seen, and as you know, because you picked every single one that's on. You deserve tremendous credit for doing that. It's an honor to be in this role. It's also an honor to be involved in and be a witness to what I believe is the most transformational year in American foreign policy since the end of the Second World War, at least. And it's transformational because for the first time in a long time, we have a president who basically puts America at the forefront of every decision we make in our relations with the world. And that may sound weird to people, like, of course you always do. No, that hasn't always been the case until about a year ago. And I think we've all witnessed in our own respective spaces how in every interaction the president has with the world, the goal he has in mind is very simple. does what you want us to do, or is it what we're going? Or is it going to make us stronger? Is it going to make us richer? Is it going to make us safer?
Us is doing a lot of lifting here. He goes into it. Is it going to make me stronger? Is it going to make me richer? Is it going to, like, everything is personal and rich.
If it is, he's for it. If it's not, he's against it. If something's going to make America weaker or poorer or less safe, the president's going to be against it. And every single thing he has done in our foreign policy has been driven by the American people in mind. And I can go down the list. Why has he focused on mass migration? It's very simple, because no country is safe if you can just walk in without us knowing who you are into your country. We've seen the destruction that that's wreaking, not just in our own country, but the impact that it's having in Europe and in many other parts of the world. You talk about trade deals and the trade situation has been involved in. People, all this reporting on it. It's very simple. The president views the last 40 years as an era of which American workers and American farmers have been ripped off. They've been ripped off, and what he's saying is we want to have trade with the world, but it has to be a trade in which American businesses and American workers and the products they make and what American farmers grow and produce has a fair shot to be sold around.
Then subsidize them. If you really want American agriculture, you have to subsidize it. The U.S. dollar is so strong compared to the rest of the world that people can't afford to import our stuff generally. Like, it's very expensive for them. The way you make it cheaper is to subsidize. Okay. I'm like, when I say some small amount of hope, I mean like infinitesimally. Like, even if we had Rubio as the president, I would still be very much against him. Like, he's still the Republican, but he is bending over to this admin, sold his soul for this job. I had hoped that he would stand up for Ukraine a little bit more, but he's getting totally steamrolled. It's quite sad. I had hoped. Past tense.
The world. On issue after issue, that's been the case. You talk about foreign aid reforms. This is not our money. This is taxpayer money. When the president has said we're going to do foreign aid, but we're going to do foreign aid for countries that are aligned with the United States and in a way that doesn't waste the taxpayers' money. And Mr. President, you deserve tremendous credit for that. Many of us, the Vice President, by the way, I want to acknowledge, has played an extraordinary role in our foreign policy. And he.
By the way, Rubio and Vance you're going to see this more and more over the next couple of years. They're going to start to be at each other's throats a little more because the Republican primary, the leaders are going to be Rubio and Vance.
He too has been a witness to all of this as it's been occurring, and he's been a big part of it as well. You talk about NATO. The president's not against NATO. He went to NATO and basically said, look, you guys, we're paying all the money, and he got them to do the 5% commitment, which everybody said was never going to happen. It was impossible. Everything this president does is driven by the American people. Whether you don't have to agree with the actual move, but understand the motivation. The motivation is.
Where the fuck is he looking? I'd prefer Rubio over Vance. I would agree. None of the above would be a great choice, but if it came down to it, then yeah, I think Rubio would be a better candidate than Vance.
Always you, the American people, and what's good for you, for your family, for the country, and for our economy. But the president is also committed to peace in a way that all of us have seen. He achieved in Gaza, and he does it, by the way, not just because he hates war and he thinks wars are a waste of money and lives, but because he's the only leader in the world that can. No other leader in the world could have pulled off what happened in Gaza. And I can tell you, I can't get into the details.
What happened in Gaza? Sorry. Like, if we look at a map, there's no ceasefire. It's just, there's still bombardments. And it's in Lebanon, too. Like, there's still a war.
Details. The vice president knows what I'm talking about. That deal doesn't happen without the president's direct interaction with the leaders that were involved in this decision making. And everyone said that deal couldn't hold. And then the president shepherded through the United Nations of all places to get a global coalition of countries to line up behind the peace deal, behind the border peace. And it's still, every day is a challenge. But it's been driven personally by the president. It's the reason why we're involved in this whole Ukraine. Russia conflict. That's not our war. It's not the president's war. This war started, it never would have happened if you'd been president.
Oh my God.
But this war is going on, and the president is trying to end it, not because, listen, we got a million things to focus on in the world as a
Brody.
country, but he's the only leader in the world that can help end it. And that's why that's why even as we speak to you now, Steve Woodcock is in Moscow trying to find a way to end this war, to save
Get him out of there.
lives of 9,000 people, Mr. President, as you well know, are dying every week. More people are dying a week in that war than have died in the entirety of the U.S.'s involvement in Afghanistan or Iraq. Just think about that, how bloody and destructive it is. The president's taken on this issue of Sudan personally, not send out deputies to do it. Again, far away from the United States, because he's the only leader in the world that can bring it about to an end, not to mention all the other peace.
Wait, what has Trump done about Sudan? He's talking about
deals very dangerous ones like India and Pakistan, or Cambodia and
war is
Thailand.
still going
And
on.
so on all these things, Mr. President, I think you deserve tremendous credit for the transformational aspect of our foreign policy. For the first time in probably 4 decades, the American foreign policy is driven by what is good for America and Americans, whether it makes us safer and stronger and more prosperous. If it is, he's for it. If it doesn't, he's against it. And that sort of clarity is transformational. I close with this, and I know I'm last, so I wanted to be fast, but there was a lot to cover. I do want to say this is the most wonderful and magical time of the year.
Oh my God, fucking shut up.
By that, of course, I'm referring to the college football playoffs. And I just want to say this as a point of personal privilege. And I'm a Florida Gator, but if the University of Miami gets screwed out of the college football playoffs after going 10-2 and beating Notre
Bro, nobody thinks you're a human being, dude. Like, this ain't working.
Dame, the whole thing should be scrapped, and you're going to have to take over it next year, Mr. President.
That's great. Well, thank you all very much. It was terrific. I hope it wasn't too long, but it was very concise.
He woke up from his nap. He's back. Good morning, Mr.
And,
President.
We've done a lot. This group has done a lot. Amazing. Everybody at this table has done a fantastic. And Susie, thank you for doing a great job, as our chief has said. First female chief of staff in the history of our country, which is pretty amazing when you think of it, right? And she's the best. Thank you very much. Great job. So after that, do you want to ask any questions?
Okay. Question time.
Mr. President, there's been a lot of speculation about who the next Fed chairman could possibly be. You said you had somebody in mind.
Yeah.
How many names were you given on the final list? And does that person currently work on the board of the Federal Reserve?
Well, I'd say that we probably looked at 10. Then Scott interviewed some people that I didn't know, but he knew. And a lot of people were involved in the process, actually, and Howard was involved. But
I'll be this petty. Boom.
I think we probably looked at 10, and we have it down to 1.
Can you answer this? I want to ask you about Elon Musk, if I could. You talked about Elon Musk. You had him at dinner here in the White House. Is he now back in your circle of friends?
Well, I really don't know. I mean, I like Elon a lot. He was he really helped during the election with his endorsement. He felt strongly. Look, we had one problem. I didn't want to have everybody have to have an electric car, and he makes electric cars.
That's
yeah, I think we get along well.
On affordability, when you talk about affordability, is going forward, are the American people, do you believe, getting impatient with the reforms that you're making? They talked about it's about.
I think they're getting fake news from guys like you. Look, affordability is a hoax.
Oh my God.
That was started by Democrats.
Fake news, like the Bureau of Labor Statistics, all the Fred data, like that's fake news. I cannot, man.
Who caused the problem of pricing, and they didn't end it. They lost in a landslide. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote. We won everything. You take a look at districts, it was 2,750 to 525, because that was an affordability problem. we brought it down. Look at energy. Look at the gasoline price. That's like the simplest, and it's the biggest. Because if energy comes down, everything comes down. That's the way it works. We're going to be at 250. You said 199 in some places in the country, right? You said it. I didn't say it. And they won't check you. They'll check me. So, I like to use your number. 199 a gallon. Unthinkable. If you go back a year and a half ago, it's unthinkable. So, no, we're bringing the prices down, way down. Beef is coming down now. We've done certain magic, and beef is coming down.
I'll find it for you.
But we inherited horrible prices. We inherited really the worst inflation.
If you look up like average grocery prices by item or whatever, you can get this breakdown, which is pretty good. So let's see. We can scroll down to eggs. Historic data. It gives you, this is the last year, but this is the price level. Sorry, this is annually. Yeah, I mean, you can see it's kind of, if we go the last 5 years. During COVID, they were going to shoot up, just necessarily so. They came down, then wasn't there that bird flu thing around here? Was that when this was? I don't know. It's like, this is the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so BLS.gov. But like, chicken prices are on the rise. Like a lot of things you can see are just on the rise. Let's go pork chops. Pork, yeah, relatively on the rise. It's kind of stable. Broccoli. Oh, we stopped collecting data. That's nice. Lemons, stable. BLS, not BLB. Here's the, I'll link chat. It's a average retail food and energy prices, U.S. city average and West region. I find it pretty helpful. Whenever they cite some stat about a certain food item, you could just look at this. Obviously, in aggregate, things are more expensive, but it's just a nice way to break down the individual stuff.
In history, we inherited that. When I came in, that's what he had, and we fixed inflation.
They want to make a website with links to all these places, just so we can have them,
including 8 wars. We got one to go, but including 8 wars. But when they always say, I watched today where they have a race going on right now in Tennessee, and this woman goes, affordability. They're the ones that caused the problem. The prices were way high. We're bringing the prices down. But they're like scam artists. They're I call them con men and women. They come out, they say affordability.
How
like,
woke of you.
I see prices. We're going to get prices down still further. But we brought them down from the prices they cost. The reason that they had the highest inflation in the history of our country
was COVID.
Because they had the highest prices. But we brought them down.
No shit, what do you think inflation is? It's the price level. Inflation is the price level, the change in price level. Oh my God.
Abnormal inflation. Yeah, please.
Well, at least that's one way to measure it.
Thank you.
Sure. I wanted to clarify something that you had said on Sunday regarding the boat strikes near Venezuela. You had said that you didn't know if the second strike on that one boat had happened, but you wouldn't have wanted it. Now that your administration has acknowledged that it happened, do you support that second strike? And Mr. Secretary, I wanted to clarify something you had said in an interview back in September, I believe on Fox News. You said that you would watch that strike live on television. In real time, did you know that there were survivors after the initial strike?
Well, look, all I know is this: every boat that you see get blown up, we save 25,000
Pete's like, Daddy's gonna save my ass.
on average lives. 25,000 lives. They've been sending enough of this horrible fentanyl and other things like cocaine and other things, but fentanyl right now is the leader of the pack, to kill our entire nation. Because a little speck on the head of a pin can kill somebody. It's very dangerous stuff. I know so many people where their sons were drug addicts. They had one little sample, and they died. They died. They couldn't believe it. As far as the attack is concerned, I still haven't gotten a lot of information because I rely on Pete. But to me, it was an attack.
That's an indictment on Pete, just thrown in there. I mean, I don't know. I rely on Pete for my information, but I don't have it. And then Pete's going to say, well, I didn't order that second strike. That was the Admiral's decision. I support him in his decision.
It wasn't one strike, two strikes, three strikes. Somebody
You're
asked
out.
me a question about the second strike. I didn't know about the second strike. I didn't know anything about people. I wasn't involved in it. I knew they took out a boat. But I would say this, they had a strike. I hear the gentleman that was in charge of that is extraordinary. He's an extraordinary person. I'll let Pete speak about him. But Pete was satisfied. Pete didn't know about second attack having to do with two people. And I guess Pete would have to speak to it. I can say this. I want those boats taken out. And if we have to, we'll attack on land also, just like we attack on sea. And there's very little coming in by sea. I think we've knocked out over 90% of it. There's very little, and I understand that. There's very little. We're saving hundreds of thousands of lives with those pinpoint attacks. It's an amazing thing when you see a boat going along, and a lot of...
Yeah, I saw this. Trump's planning on basically doing a national trip to gaslight the American people into how great his economy is. Just like... Yeah, I saw this on Twitter. It's like, what's he gonna do? Try and convince people that their prices are actually low, or that it's the Democrats' fault? Ah, my God. Yeah, I think that Tennessee election, where that plus 22 district being a single digit difference, like they lost, I think 12 or 13 points. I think that was the thing that actually scared him. So now he's doing this in-person propaganda tour. It's so crazy. Good stuff.
The press would like to say they're not. You see them, but they're not.
And obviously we'll be watching that as it happens.
Not maybe drugs. You see these boats. First of all, who has 5 engines on the back of a boat going in weird directions and loaded up with lots of white containers? They're bags of things. No, they've done an amazing job, and Peter's done an amazing job.
Sorry, that's enough to prescribe the death penalty? Yeah. We can read that Harvard Youth poll. That'd actually be interesting. Was this published today? Yeah, okay. We'll read that next.
Pete, you could probably better answer the question.
No, you're spot on, sir. I think you got to start with the baseline, which Marco laid out, everybody's laid out. You got 20 million people invading our country over 4 years. We don't know where they're coming from. That includes Tren de Aragua and cartels and violent criminals. They bring drugs, and you mentioned it, Mr. President, poisoning, an intentional poisoning of the American people, killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. So the president had the courage to designate these cartels as designated terrorist organizations. Now, a number of us here served in the military.
Can the president
spent 20
do that
years fighting
unilaterally?
terrorists like Al-Qaeda and ISIS on the other side of the world. How do you treat Al-Qaeda and ISIS? Do you arrest them and treat them, pat them on the head and say, don't do that again? Or do you...
When we were engaged in war and there was gunfights, no. But if there were water or boat ISIS, or they were rendered otherwise incapable of fighting, then yeah, you would take them prisoner. That's just how you conduct yourself in war.
End the problem directly by taking a lethal, kinetic approach. And that's the way President Trump has authorized the War Department to look at these cartels. And I wish everybody could be in the room watching our professionals like Mitch Bradley, Admiral Mitch Bradley, and others.
See, he's shifting the blame. He's naming the person he wants them to go after because he knows that this is a war crime.
JSOC and SOCOM and other commanders. The deliberative process, the detail, the rigorous, the intel, the legal, the evidence-based way that we're able to, with sources and methods that we can't reveal here, that make sure that every one of those
classic Republican strategy. Trust me, bro, I just can't tell you.
Drug boats is tied to a designated terrorist organization. We know who's on it, what they're doing, what they're carrying. All these white bales are not Christmas gifts from Santa. This is drugs running on four-motor fast boats or submarines that we've also struck. No one's fishing on a submarine. And I have empowered them to make that call. Now, the first couple of strikes, as you would, as any leader would want, you want to own that responsibility. So I said, I'm going to be the one to make the call after getting all the information.
Oh my God, it's so transparent. The first couple of strikes were all me, but these ones, no.
It's the right strike. That was September 2nd. There's a lot of intelligence that goes into that, building that case and understanding that. A lot of people providing information. I watched that first strike live. As you can imagine, at the Department of War, we got a lot of things to do. So I didn't stick around for the hour and 2 hours, whatever, where all the sensitive site exploitation digitally occurs. So I moved on to my next meeting. A couple of hours later, I learned that commander had made which he had the complete authority to do, and by the way, Admiral Bradley made the correct decision to ultimately sink the boat and eliminate the threat. He sunk the boat.
He's actually just getting
the boat and eliminated
under the bus.
threat. And it was the right call. We have his back. And the American people are safer because narco-terrorists know you can't bring drugs through the water and eventually on land if necessary to the American people. We will eliminate that threat, and we're proud to do it.
So you didn't see any survivors, to be clear, after that first strike? You personally?
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand, because the thing was on fire. It was exploded and fire and smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war. This is what you in the press.
Is that what fog of war means?
You sit in your air-conditioned offices or up on Capitol Hill and you nitpick and you plant fake stories in the Washington Post about kill everybody, phrases on anonymous.
It's not like obscured vision. It's just about uncertainty about the state of a battlefield, I guess.
Sources not based in anything, not based in any truth at all. And then you want to throw out really irresponsible terms about American heroes, about the judgment that they made. I wrote a whole book on this topic because of what politicians and the press does to warfighters. President Trump has empowered commanders to do what is necessary, which is dark and difficult things in the dead of night on behalf of the American people. We support them, and we will stop the poisoning of the American people.
We're not entering.
Mr. Secretary, on the second strike, you said it happened more than an hour after the first strike?
I couldn't tell you the exact amount of time.
Minutes, or you had left the room?
Empowered to commit war crime, yeah.
I already stated my answer quite clearly.
So remember this, we lost last year, I think it was more than that, but people don't like saying it because they always said 100,000, 115,000, numbers we've been hearing for years. So we lost last year more than 200,000 people, dead people. Ruined families.
That doesn't mean you can commit war crimes. That doesn't make anything legal.
Beyond the 200,000. And those 200,000, that family will never be the same. But these people have killed over 200,000 people, actually killed over 200,000 people last year. And those numbers are down. They're way down. And they're down because we're doing these strikes, and we're going to start doing those strikes on land, too. The land is much easier. It's much easier. And we know the routes they take. We know everything about them. We know where they live. We know where the bad ones live. And we're going to...
Because he's old and demented, man. And there's... People are saying he's got dentures because he's talking a lot more like this.
Soon, too.
Mr. President, thank you so much, Mr. President.
And you know what? When we start that, we're going to drive those numbers down so low. And then you're going to have families be able to live without the fear of their son or daughter just having a pill to have a little fun and ending up dying within a period of 60 seconds, right? No, we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let it continue to happen. What Biden did to this country by allowing all these people, and I call them animals in many cases, I think they're animals, to come into our country and destroy our country and let all those drugs pour in. Let people just walk across the border like it was nothing. You look at them, a lot of them, you say, oh, let's not discriminate. I'm not talking about color. I'm just talking about you look into the eyes of some of these people. We're smart.
What?
And you see a killer. Come on in. Just come on in. 11,888 murderers. Many of them committed more than one murder. He allowed them into our country, totally unvetted, totally unchecked. But he also allowed drugs to come in at record numbers.
What do killer
and hundreds
eyes
of
look
thousands
like?
of people a year
They're
die.
walking across the border
And
like...
we're taking those son of a bitches out. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for taking your questions. I think this is the most transparent administration I've ever seen.
I'm impressed by these people. I'll tell you, how strong are you? You've been holding it for 2 hours. There are very few physically. There are very few people who could do it. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I have no idea who you are, but you're strong.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, last week, militia groups in Iraq attacked the Christian region's gas field, the largest gas field, which even the U.S. companies invested in the energy sector in the Christian region. And the Christian Prime Minister requested the United States to provide them some sorts of means and defense systems in defending their civilian infrastructure and U.S. investment in the Christian region. Are you willing to providing them the support? And if I had this question, tomorrow the United States is going to open and inaugurate.
Can you speak louder?
Yeah, of course.
Is that possible?
Oh my God.
You're the most gentle, beautiful voice. You're a gentle person.
Everyone else, he's got that
Take fewer words and louder.
Fibonacci spiral.
I repeat my first question. Last week, the Iraqi militia groups attacked one of the largest gas fields in the Kurdistan region of Iraq, which even the U.S. companies have invested in these gas fields.
Yeah.
And then,
are you from Iraq?
I'm from Kurdistan, Iraqi Kurdistan.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm working for Huda Media Network. And the Kurdistan region prime minister, he requested the United States to providing them some sorts of defense system to defending these gas fields and U.S. investment in the Kurdistan region. Are you willing to helping them?
Well, we're going to look at it. I heard about it, and I'm hearing about it more now, frankly. It wasn't at the top of my list. It's a very unusual question, I think, but I assumed you're from the area, and to you it's a very important question, and to me it is also, because people are being killed. I will say this, Iraq has been much different in terms of us than they were prior to us taking out the nuclear capability of Iran. Iran has gone down many, many steps in terms of its fear factor. They were the bully of the Middle East, and they're really not the bully of the Middle East anymore. And Iraq was being bullied by Iran. We had a president that thought it was brilliant to blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East for a long period of time. But Iraq,
I need to do more reading on post-war Iraq and how that all played out. Why is he saying fear factor like it's top Trump? Yeah, I don't.
Today we hit him with those B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, because CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't total obliteration. Well, it turned out it was totally obliteration. It was every single one of those missiles hit its target. It was actually amazing, but it was wiped out, totally wiped out. I will tell you, Iraq has been a much friendlier place. They talk to us. The Prime Minister actually nominated me, along with about 78 other countries, for the Nobel Prize. I'm the only one that was nominated by almost 100 countries that didn't get it. But that's okay.
Because they know how to appeal to your ego, man. If he wasn't so fucking stupid, it might be funny.
But I saved a lot of lives. But Iraq nominated us for the Nobel Prize, and that was a great honor. We didn't expect that from Iraq. Iraq has been a much different place since the taking out of Iran the nuclear capability. Yeah, let's get to another question.
The meeting,
Here we go. This guy's a beauty. Go ahead.
Secretary Rubio mentioned the meetings ongoing in Russia today. Do you have any update from Mr. Witkoff or Mr. Kushner on that?
No update, because I've been spending too much time with you. I mean, we're spending a lot of time in here. We wanted to do this you talk about being open and transparent. This has to be the most transparent administration in history.
No, it's faux transparency. When you're not publishing the unemployment numbers, but you're hosting these, North Korea roundtable birthday party bullshits, that's not transparency. That's just being in people's face.
We spent a lot of time answering your questions and giving you a lot of good, good results. I mean, I think everybody here gave you good results. But no, I don't. I will have after I leave here.
But do you hope for a breakthrough, or is it not quite at that stage?
I don't know. Look, I don't know. All I can tell you is that we're trying very hard to save 25 to 30,000 people, mostly men, mostly soldiers, every month. 25,000 to 30,000 soldiers. It's impossible. That's half a stadium. Take a big football stadium. Take half of those people in a stadium.
It's like water only
and they're wiped
transparent
out.
on the
They're
surface, or his hair. Yeah.
Every month. It's crazy. That war is crazy. And it would have never happened with me, and it didn't happen for 4 years.
You just mentioned potential land strikes. Can you elaborate anything on that? Are you talking about
I'll elaborate. If they come in through a certain country or any country, or if we think they're building mills for whether it's fentanyl or cocaine. I hear Colombia, the country of Colombia, is making cocaine. They have cocaine manufacturing.
You're only just finding out about this. Oh my God.
That's okay. And then they sell us their cocaine. We appreciate that very much. But yeah, anybody that's doing that and selling it into our country is subject to attack.
So not necessarily just Venezuela.
No, not just Venezuela. No. Venezuela's been very bad. Venezuela's been really bad in something else, probably worse than most, but a lot of other people do it too. They would send murderers into our country. They would empty their jails into our country.
I think Trump is actually straight and narrow, like on drug stuff. I'm pretty sure. I know he doesn't drink.
They sent people into our country that we don't want. They sent their drug dealers and their drug people into our country. They sent people from their mental institutions into our country, and we're getting them out. That was bad. That was real bad. And they also sent drugs. Yeah.
On Tim Walz, Mr. President, do you think he should resign over the fraud scandal in his state?
That who should?
Tim Walz.
I should probably
Over
look
the
into the
scandal
fraud
in the
thing.
state.
Look, I think the man's a grossly incompetent man.
It's
I
not
thought
the
that
word you used.
from the day I watched JD destroy him in a debate. I was saying, who was more incompetent, that man or my man? I had a man and he had a man. They were both incompetent, and I had a man and a woman. I thought she was very incompetent too, but now she's leading the field, and I think she's leading the field for the nomination. Anyway, look, that's up to them. That's up to the Democrats. You know, the problem with them is they have really bad policy. And I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want them to change it necessarily. Because I want to run against it. Whether it's not going to be me, it's going to be somebody that's going to probably sitting at this table. Could be a couple of people sitting at this table. Could be a couple of people running together sitting at this table, you know. But I want them to win because we've done a great job for this country, and I want that to be carried forward. And you know, I think we have a tremendous bench, really a tremendous bench. But no, I think that Walz is a grossly incompetent man. There's something wrong with him. Okay, there's something wrong with him. And when you look at what he's done with Somalia, which is barely a country, you know, they have no anything. They just run around killing each other. There's no structure. And when I see somebody like Ilhan Omar, who I don't know at all, but I always watch her for years. I've watched her complain about our Constitution, how she's being treated badly. Our Constitution, the United States of America, is a bad place. Hates everybody, hates Jewish people, hates everybody. And I think she's an incompetent person. She's a real terrible person. But when I watch what is happening in Minnesota, the land of 1,000 lakes, or however many lakes they have, they got a lot of lakes, but this beautiful place, and I see these people ripping it off, and now I'm understanding, and you're going to look at that, Scott, I hear they ripped off Somalians, ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks.
What's that reason? Is it in, like, inherent characteristics? Is that what this man is arguing right now? Uh-oh.
And we don't want them in our country. I can say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other. And we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage.
Oh,
She's garbage.
well, that's nice.